What is portrayed on television, in series and movies as ordinary, even though for most people it's far from that? Every time they show people at work, they never actually work. What does their job consist of? Why can't I get a job like that? What is that mystical place of celebrations and pleasant conversations by the water cooler? They make plans there without a hint of logistics. Hi, we just met. Want to have dinner today? Yes, of course. Pick me up at 8. Sounds good. Later, that same evening, damn it, I don't even have her phone number. If you go on vacation, all your friends go with you, even if they work at low-paying jobs and, most importantly, can't afford it. Somehow they find the money and time for vacation to drop everything and go next. Once a Japanese person asked me why Americans don't take their shoes off in bed. I didn't understand what he was talking about until he said he saw this on TV shows. Children. It creates the impression that they stop existing when they don't have a direct relationship to the plot. Say, when my kids were children, it was constant. Damn, who's gonna hold, watch, change, tolerate the pulling on ears from the younger one for 20 hours a day? And then when a season or two passes for the character, a child appeared. This child magically becomes 4 years old and gets a bunch of witty lines, but then everything just periodically disappears for several episodes. When a man and woman dislike each other in real life, he considers her a bitch and she considers him an asshole. When a man and woman dislike each other in romance novels, it's sexual tension, and later they'll sleep together. In most TV shows, the action takes place in upper middle class homes, both in actual houses and decorations, because with that much space, it's easier to film. I'm middle class myself, and it's hard for me to remember a show where the houses would look like my parents' neighborhood. You order a shot at a bar when you're having a bad day. When the bartender pours the shot, you say, "Leave the bottle." The bartender gives a knowing look. This guy definitely doesn't have any money and leaves the bottle. Try something like that in real life, and they'll tell you to pay up front. When police question people, they're always busy with something like painting a fence or cleaning up after children. If investigators start talking to you, you sit down on the back porch out of fear and walk through it with them. Someone steals money from you that was given to you for lunch, or a group of teenagers walks by, takes your lunch and eats it, or knocks a tray of food out of your hands, throwing it on the ground. I've never seen anything like that happen to anyone in real life. I don't know how far this is from the truth, or how realistic and widespread it is in places like classic American small towns or something like that, but in shows like Riverdale, Stranger Things, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and others where high schoolers just hang out together in their hangout spot or at each other's houses whenever they want, wherever and whenever, it's an absolutely foreign concept to me. When I was that age, I lived about 10 to 20 kilometers from my school, and all my friends lived about the same distance from each other and sometimes in opposite directions. I got to and from school by school bus, and organizing a trip anywhere until we reached the age when we were allowed to drive was a real test, because parents had to agree in advance to take us all somewhere. The happy and carefree freedom that I see in these films looks like it should evoke wonderful memories from childhood. But in reality, it seems like all the characters just happen to live conveniently on one street in the city center. Meanwhile, my luck was that I had one postal code with my friends. Twins change lives so that nobody notices anything. I understand that some random acquaintance might not be able to tell twins apart, but if you spend enough time talking to one of the twins, you'll immediately realize it's not them. Childbirth. On TV, you can see a pregnant woman who is at home or at work or anywhere except at the hospital when her water suddenly breaks. Then everyone rushes around frantically to the hospital while the expectant mother screams from labor pains. In reality, most people do just fine when their water breaks and can calmly get to the hospital. Also, before delivery, there should be cervical dilation, and that can also take some time. Crazy college parties every night where hot girls in lingerie show up, and neither cops nor security come to break everyone up. Yes, of course, such parties happen, but in movies and TV shows, they portray it as if this happens constantly at every college/university. Hitting someone without any legal consequences or serious trauma. One punch to the face can cause serious damage, even if the hitter is a dilettante. You can break someone's nose or jaw, knock out teeth, poke out an eye, and much more, depending on where your fist lands. Most likely, you'll break your hand or dislocate your wrist, get bruises and swelling, and at some point, someone will call the police, only if you're not Buzz Aldrin. That thanks to a centrifuge, you get a DNA fingerprint of the suspect in a matter of seconds. This is shown literally in every crime show. Every time someone smokes a cigarette, they put it out after about 30 seconds. Who has enough money to pay for all these barely smoked cigarettes? People with perfect makeup, with such styling that not a single hair is out of place, and dressed in the latest fashion according to the latest trends, lounge around at home. Usually I immediately change into old shorts and a worn t-shirt as soon as I get home,